Board. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it real fast. We're just gonna kind of briefly explain a few things before we jump right into it. Dr. Tyler Coles is a marketing genius as well as an orthodontist. He's going to be here to explain where you should best spend your marketing dollars. We put in a really awesome presentation to be able to show you what has the highest returns and what is also the easiest for your office to adopt and bring into the practice to be able to help grow your office the fastest. And so it's going to be a great presentation this evening. Dr. Tyler Coles will be going throughout the presentation. I will be fielding questions. If you have questions, please feel free to message me directly through Zoom, and I'll be able to hop right on in and basically table your questions at a certain point, like a stopping point, or at the very end. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and reach out through Zoom, and we'll go ahead and kick it off from there. We do have quite a few people already in. So Dr. Tyler, do you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get everything started here. So it's good to see everyone. Thanks for everyone showing up. And yeah, everyone who catches this on the replay, we look forward to chatting with you then. So like Tyler said, I'm Dr. Tyler Coles. I'll be talking to you a little bit about different marketing channels. So in my practice, we've tried basically every type of marketing, every channel. We've tested just about everything you can test to advertise braces and Invisalign. So I'm going to tell you what worked in my office, show you how much return we got, how hard it was, and hopefully you can learn from my experiences on what to avoid, what's the best place to put your time and energy. So we'll go ahead and kick it off and go from there. So as part of the presentation today, I will be showing 12 months of data with my total cost and return I got for different marketing channels. So this was 2023's data. I will talk a little bit about the time required to develop that channel. So obviously there's a lot, money is one factor, but the other factor is time. How much time does it actually take me to pull it off, or my team? And so then I'll summarize which channels in my experiences are the most profitable, which take the least amount of time, and which I think that you should probably focus on this next quarter if you're going to pick any. So for those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Tyler Coles. I've been working as an orthodontist for a little over 12 years now. So during that time, I've managed all the marketing for my own practice. When I joined my brother's practice 12 years ago, we had 2 locations. We grew it to 6 offices. We were pretty much the largest private-owned orthodontic practice in the Phoenix area. 80% of all of our new patients come from digital marketing. So that's one thing that makes us unique is we get dentist referrals. We like when we get them, but most of our patients are generated through our own marketing efforts. So last year, my marketing generated 6,857 new patient leads, which led to over 2,100 starts last year. So we've generated lots of orthodontic leads. And so I'm going to give you some insight on what we've done and what we've learned along the way. So again, the biggest thing to measure is return on investment. For every dollar we spend, how much money do we get back? But then also return on effort, because time's not free. And how much time did it take to get that return? And how much effort and forethought does that take? So we'll be talking about both time and money tonight. As we talk, I'll be plotting things on this axis. So the return is on the left side. You can see the best return we got was like a 30-to-1. The lowest was a 2-to-1. So that means every time I spent $1, I got 2 back. And on the top of that, every time I spent $1, I got 30 back. And then on the bottom is the effort scale. So obviously easy to extremely difficult. And again, I've been doing marketing for 12 years. We do all of our own marketing in my practice. I built my own website. I run all my own ads. So I do everything basically in-house by myself and with freelancers and people that work with me. But basically, I'm the one running the ship. So I'll tell you how hard it was for me to pull off. And then obviously you can interpret that on how hard it is to do in your own practice. Using this data, we'll plot all the different marketing channels into these 4 quadrants. So the top right, there's the high effort, high return. There's the low effort, high return. Obviously, this is the quadrant that you want to do if possible, is things that don't take a lot of effort, but give you good return. There is the high effort, low return. This is what you want to avoid, because why work hard to get nothing back? Then there's a low effort, low return. I find a lot of orthodontists live in this category, just doing little things that don't really do anything. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So some of the channels we'll discuss, we'll be going through all these in detail, but everything from the legacy media channels, the non-traditional, the Googles, the social medias, dentist referrals, patient referrals, as well as print media. That includes like postcards, magazines, flyers, Valpaks. So again, we've done everything in my practice. We don't currently do everything because I've changed where I emphasize my time and effort, but that's what we'll be getting into. So first thing is billboards. So these are what I call like the legacy media channels. So these are the things that people used to do to advertise to get patients or just to sell stuff. So there's billboards and radio ads. We've done these for several years in my practice. This last year, we did them for a few months. We didn't do them all year long, but the billboards, we spent $15,000. We did 11 new patient starts trackable to those billboards. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of attribution where someone saw your billboard, then they saw your Google ad, then they saw you on Facebook, and it may be an additive effect. But as far as direct attribution to billboards, we could track 11 new patients. With those numbers, that was a 3.1 to 1 ROI. So every dollar we spent on the billboards, we got back 3.1 times in production. The radio ads, we spent $24,000. And obviously, radio is not going to be for everybody. We've got lots of offices in Phoenix, so we can run radio ads and kind of hit the whole valley. We got 14 new patient starts, and that was a 2.5 to 1 ROI. So plotting these on our axis, I said this was kind of the lower return. So again, a 2 to 3 to 1, that's fine. We used to do these a lot and get kind of between that 2 to 4 ROI. They don't take a ton of work. You do have to get the billboard artwork created. You have to work with the distributor. Radio, same thing. You have to get someone that will go find you radio space, and then you have to get an ad recorded. So it's a little bit trickier, but once you have them, it just kind of like runs on autopilot. So I put it as more of like the lower effort, just because there's not a lot of month-to-month stuff, but it is a little bit lower return compared to what we're used to getting. So we put these in the low effort, low return. If you're just starting out, this would obviously be a lot higher effort because you got to figure out all this stuff initially. But once you have it, it just kind of runs. Your billboard's up. You don't have to do anything. And it just kind of passively gets you patients. So it's not bad to do, but it's, as we'll see, that's definitely not the best place to put your marketing dollars. The next thing is kind of non-traditional marketing channels. So these are things that most people don't do in orthodontics and you may not have heard of. So one is purchased email blasts. This is where you go to your local news station and they have this giant email list and you can pay them to email blast their list with your special offer. And we've done these in the past and got a really good ROI. This last year we did a handful of them. And for whatever reason, it's just not working like it once did. Before, we would probably spend 8,000 and get 40 new patients back. And we would do these all year long. We may just have burnt out their list. But this last year, we spent 8,000. We got 10 new patient starts, which equated to a 5.3 to 1 ROI. And then influencer marketing. This is where you can find an influencer in your local area. And then you either exchange treatment or we actually paid them for marketing. So these were influencers that actually found our office just organically. Then when all of our staff knew who they were, so then we paid them to mention us on Instagram and in their YouTube channel. And same thing with them. We used to get like a 30 to 40 to 1 ROI. It was great. This last year, we've kind of burned out their lists. So we got a 5.9 to 1 ROI. So again, not bad. 5 to 1 ROI, like generally that's a really good number. But as far as difficulty, the influencer marketing is, I'd say, almost extremely difficult because we tried to find lots of them and most of them were bad and did not get us any results. The one that actually worked kind of fell into our lap. So it's not something I would definitely search out and do again personally, just because the amount of effort and time and following up with them. If you can get one that works, like, it's great, but a 5 to 1 ROI is good, but probably not something that I would put on the top of my list. The email blasts, they're not a lot of work. I do have to write the email myself. If the radio station or the TV network, they will try to write it for you and they don't generally work very well unless I write it myself. So it does take a little bit of effort. You got to negotiate the deal. We'll probably do 2 of these this year. So they were still worth doing it. 5-to-1 ROI. It's not bad, and it's not too much effort. So we'll probably do one like Black Friday and then summer. So obviously this is not going to be available to everybody in every market, but it is something that if you're in a big market and have a big reach, you could consider. And so these are the marketing channels now. And then I put these up in the high effort, low return. The return was okay, but they do take a little bit of more time and effort. So if you haven't started these yet, this may not be something I'd put as like your top priority. Next thing we're going to talk about is what I call the Google ecosystem. So this is everything that falls under the Google umbrella. So there's the Google search ads, there's Google Performance Max, which not everybody knows about. That's basically where you give Google a bunch of images, a bunch of videos, a bunch of headlines, and then they go figure out where to put that stuff on their, in the Google world. So they might put it on YouTube, they might put it on a banner ad, they might put it in Google search. They just try to like move your stuff around and find you leads somehow. And then lastly is Google Organic or Google Search. So Google search ads, most people do these. Obviously, if people searching for an orthodontist, it's going to be a very high intent audience. So we spent 67,000 last year. So I do like to look at impressions, like how many eyeballs did I get in front of by spending on this channel? And so we got in front of 86,000 people, which is good. We scheduled 423 appointments. It ended up being $159 per lead. Our Google Performance Max, we spent 23. You can see we got a lot more impressions because this is kind of like Google or Facebook or TikTok where you're showing your ad in front of people not looking for you. We got 195 appointments scheduled, 176 per lead. And then Google Organic, that's just people searching for us. We scheduled 1,323 appointments. So obviously, if you can get this, that's kind of the best. But the ROI is a little bit harder to figure because obviously with organic, you're not really spending money. And so the ad spend, I kind of just lumped all these together. And so we spent $91,000 on Google. We generated 657 starts total with an ROI of 30-to-1. And obviously a lot of that was from my organic search rankings, but we got a lot from Google search and Google performance. It's hard to like accurately track what patients came from a Google search ad versus Google organic, because when they come in your office, the TC just asks, how did you hear about us? And they just say Google. You don't know which Google. So we just kind of lumped them all in. And so it's a 30-to-1 ROI. As far as difficulty and effort, yes.
Sorry to cut you off. What would you say the amount per lead is when it comes to Google? Would you say, if you could flip back a few, yeah, right there, the 176, 159. For those of you on the call, I just noticed a few people jump on. Do you guys know what your Google lead costs are? And Dr. Tyler, if you kind of share what a good lead cost would be for Google, because I know some doctors asked me in the past, hey, what should I be looking for? What is the range of a good quality lead when it comes to Google? 150, 200, what would you say?
It depends on your market and the competition. Obviously, Phoenix is going to be very competitive. So I'm really happy with $150 per lead. Performance Max, kind of the same thing. Usually most markets could probably get less because they're going to be a little less competitive than Phoenix. But if you're 150 and, you figure half of these people will show up, half of those will start. So you're probably spending $600 to get a new patient start. And so $5,000 in production for a $600 investment. Obviously, that's going to be easy math so that you can make a lot of money on it. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on who's managing the campaign. It's going to depend on your website, how well it converts. It's going to depend on your market. So, you obviously want to optimize your website for conversion, and then you need to optimize these ads to convert and perform well. So, if you're around 150, I'd say you're doing really well. If you're less than that, congratulations. If you're a lot more than that, then you may need to fix something else in that system. most likely the website or possibly the ads themselves.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I just something that's really good to know is to understand and be able to see those numbers. Get those from your marketing providers or internally if you have someone running internally. Just gonna understand how much it costs per lead, so we can make the best judgment for your practice. So, thanks, Dr. Tyler, for explaining.
Yep. So in the difficulty scale, SEO, it is crazy return. Kind of like I said, I showed you we got over 1,300 patients scheduled through organic search, but it is the hardest thing to do. Like I have to work at this every single week to keep my rankings in the top 5 for the search terms that I'm wanting to rank for. So everything from reviews to your website to your listings, everything's kind of got to be on point if you want to do it. So it's worth the investment to do, but it's a long battle, especially if you're a new practice to get to the top of the search results in a competitive market. Google Ads is much less difficult. Difficulty is your website needs to be properly built for conversion, and then the ads need to be run properly. Then Performance Max is not, it's a little bit more difficult just because you need to have video, you need to have pictures, you need to have a lot of stuff, and then your website still needs to be good. So these are worth doing, obviously, but just know that it's one of the harder channels to do. So this is kind of how it compares with the rest. And then I put these in the high effort, high return Google Ads and SEO, and Performance Max is more of a high effort, lowish return just because it's not as high as Google Ads. So again, these are kind of where I spend a ton of my time because it's worth doing, but it does take a lot of my time too. All right, so next is the social media channels. So Facebook and TikTok. Facebook, last year we spent $187,000. For impressions, we got 15.3 million impressions. So again, 15 million people. It wasn't 15 million people, but multiple people saw this over and over. So that's worth a lot of name recognition where you're getting in front of people over and over and over. We scheduled over 1,900 appointments. We got 374 starts. So again, a lot of people wonder, like, what's your conversion rate from appointment scheduled to start? And obviously you got to schedule a lot of leads to get starts. But when your leads are cheap, you still can get that 7.7 to 1 ROI. Every time I spend $1 on Facebook ads, we got $7.7 in production back. TikTok, we actually started this kind of early last year. And so I was scaling it up throughout the year, but we spent a little bit less. But you can see TikTok ads actually cost a lot less for impressions. Less people are advertising on TikTok. So you can see I spent 187,000 for 15 million impressions. TikTok, I spent 156,000 for 23 million impressions. So you can see you don't have to spend nearly as much dollars to get, more eyeballs. We scheduled 1,200 appointments, which generated 310 starts and an 8.6 to 1 ROI. So TikTok actually outperformed Facebook last year. Part of that was we were really early on the platform. And so those first couple of months, we kind of had some magic months that were just crazy productive. Now it's probably about equal. It's kind of like cooled down a little bit from what it was, but it's still very, very profitable. So as far as where I would put these are very high return. They're kind of like moderate effort, where these don't take me nearly as much time as Google and SEO, but it still gives me a really good return. And this is how they compare to everything else. So I put them on the low effort, high return. And this is where obviously I try to spend the most of my time because it doesn't take as much time to do, doesn't take as much time to manage, and it consistently gets me patients each and every month coming through the door. Next, I figure I've just mentioned organic social media. So this is not running ads. This is just posting to your, Instagram profile, your Facebook profile, your TikTok profile. This is not my specialty. So we got 0 reported leads last year from any of these organic things. And so for me, I put this in low effort or high effort because it takes a lot of work to get your office to take pictures, to do videos, and to do all the stuff. But I basically got zero return. There are offices that get a return doing this, but for them, they probably do a ton of work. So the offices that are really good at this, they have to put as much time and effort into this as I probably put into SEO. For me, I'd rather do SEO than, dance in front of a camera or do skits and do videos. So depends on kind of what you're into. But for me, like, this is not something I focus on because it's, in order to get your organic post to like catch fire and get shown, it's so hard because there's so much competition. So for example, like I had a patient come in the other day and I was explaining how she needed an expander. And I showed him a picture and the patient's eyes lit up. She's like, "Oh, I saw that on the Bentist." I was like, "Yep." So a patient here in, Phoenix, Arizona sees the Bentist TikToks, um, who I think he practices in Texas. So in order to get your organic post to show to your market, you've got to get like the whole country seeing them. Whereas with ads, I can just say, show my ads to this area right here. And I don't have to worry about showing it to Texas because the patient that saw the Bentist TikTok post, they came in and got braces started with me because they saw my TikTok ad. So for me, ads are a lot easier than organic posts.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to this, I have a lot of doctors asking if I should pay a company to market or to post on my behalf. From what I've seen in my experience as well, and Dr. Tyler could probably share the same thing, is those companies who post on your behalf are generally going to post like generic content, like happy, grilled cheese day, cheeseburger day, donut day, those types of material. And what happens over time is when Facebook and Instagram see these posts that are being put up often, not getting any likes, comments, or shares, any engagement. What I've seen is Facebook and Instagram will actually kind of bury your Facebook page or your Instagram page and lower your visibility as well. So oftentimes paying for a marketing company to post on your behalf, because like what Dr. Tyler said, it is difficult asking your team to go out and post all day, every day, right? Going out, hey, can you please post, and keeping up on that cycle. Organic content from your office is way better, but paying a company to do it for you will generally lower your visibility on Facebook, lower your visibility on your social. So that's just kind of a word of caution right there. Is if you're going to do it in house. Don't do it out. Don't hire someone to post for you. So
Yeah, I see organic content more as social proof, where you want to have something on there. And again, that's usually better if it's like pictures of the staff with patients, pictures of the doctor with patients, showing kind of what happens in your office, so that when somebody sees my Google ad and checks out on Facebook, or if someone sees my TikTok ad and checks out our TikTok, there's something there to show that we're a real company and real business. But generally speaking, these social media platforms, they don't want to show business posts unless you pay money. Unless you're crazy entertaining, like, the Bentist, like my friend Dr. Enrique Cruz, he does like full choreographed dances with his whole office. There's the braces guy, he does really well with this. But again, those are like 3 doctors out of all the ones I know that have figured out how to do this well. And I haven't figured it out, and I don't really plan to. So if, again, you have limited amount of time and effort, for me, the return is not here. I can go do anything else in this category and get a bigger return. So for me, I put these in low effort, low return. Like I said, most ortho offices, unfortunately, spend probably too much time and effort here doing things that don't really move the needle. You take a picture, you do a little funny skit or video, you put it on social media, and then what happens? Like, probably nothing, like at least nothing you can track. So traditional marketing channels, these are the things we probably all do to some extent. So there's the dentist referral marketing, patient referral marketing, the event marketing, community sponsorships. We still do all of these pretty much, but I put these here. So doctor marketing, I say, for me, is extremely difficult. I don't love doing it, but I know it gives a good return, so we still do it. Patient referral marketing, again, it gives a great return, but it's not easy. It's something you got to do over and over. You can't just set it and forget it. Event marketing, for me, to get all my staff to go to an event on a weekend, nobody wants to do it. We have to force them to do it. We still do like 1 or 2 a year, but it's pretty difficult from a management standpoint. It does get us a return. And then there's the community sponsorship. It's easy, you just write a check, but does anything really happen in your practice when you do it? Probably not. So I categorize the event marketing more as the high effort, low return. Doctor marketing and patient marketing is the high effort, high return, worth doing, but it takes time. And the community sponsorship, kind of that low effort, low return. Like we'll still write checks for the local baseball team, but we don't really expect, leads from that. If we get one a year, that'd be awesome, but most likely it's not going to generate much. Last category is print ads. So I've done all of these: flyers, Valpak, magazine ads, postcards. We used to do a ton of these probably 5 or 6 years back. So every like 2 months we were doing a new magazine, we were doing postcards. And I did all of this until I learned how to do Facebook and TikTok ads. So these give you not a bad return. We would get 4-to-1 return, 5-to-1 return. Every time we spend $1, we'd get $4 or $5 back. It does take a lot of work. So we have to generate the ads, we have to generate the pictures, we have to send them in. And then the return was okay, but lately it's gotten even worse. So last time we ran one of these, I don't think we got a single patient from it. I think we dropped like $6,000 on a postcard campaign without a single return. So for me, like print media is not something I do at all anymore. All of these things I've stopped doing years ago because I have a system now with Facebook and TikTok and Google that I can just dump money in and know that I can get a consistent return now that that system is already built. So here I put this again, it could be low effort if you hire a company, but sometimes it is high effort because if you're doing the design and working with freelancers and things like that, it does take a little bit of work. So the big thing whenever I'm planning out our quarterly initiatives, so we try to work in 3-month quarters and we say, what do we want to accomplish? What do we want to work on? I have to think about what of these things do I have to do personally? Which can I delegate 100%? So if I can delegate 100% to somebody else, I do that every time because I know it'll happen and I don't have to deal with it. So the things that I have to do, I try to only work in this quadrant or this quadrant if I'm putting in my own time and effort. So again, I will go to lunch with dentists. I will go optimize my SEO. I'll do these, but anything over here, aside from Performance Max, anything else, I don't touch it. We only do it if I can let somebody else do it for me because it's not worth my time because my time is limited. So these are the things I will be doing: TikTok ads, Facebook, Google, SEO, and then things I'll be delegating. I don't do a lot of doctor lunches. I let my associates do that. We still do patient marketing. We still do community events, and then we still post on our social media channels because I don't have to do them anymore. So it's fine to let the team do it. And it happens most of the time, but it's not something that I personally spend my time in. So I think for everybody listening, I would recommend pick 3 growth initiatives for this first quarter. And we're already 1 month into the first quarter, but pick 3 things on all the things we talked about that you're going to try to implement. And only pick one thing that you have to do. So for you, it may be trying to get the doctor marketing going, or it might be, getting the patient referral marketing up. I don't know if you're wanting to learn how to do these other things, but just pick one thing that you have to do, then pick 2 things that you can delegate 100% and take off your plate. So whenever you're picking what to focus on, obviously we want to focus on this side of the spectrum. Again, having tried every single marketing channel, everything that you can possibly do to market a practice, I can say this is where I spend most of my time. And if anyone asked me, I would say, might as well start in the low effort, high return, especially for, practices we work with. We can basically handle all of these things start to finish for you. And so that is what our company does with Ortho-Boost is we take my winning ads. So in my practice, we split test 16 new ads every month. So every month we got 16 new ads made by, TikTok video creators. And then we split test them throughout the month and we find the winners. And then our clients only get the winning ads. And then I have landing pages that I built myself. I split tested them till I know what works that gets a high converting landing pages. We use our same video creators to make videos for your practice. And then my team implements these strategies for you. So again, it can be 100% delegated where it's totally off your plate. So additionally, what our company Ortho-Boost does is we do new patient follow-up. So after we generate all these leads for practices through our TikTok and Facebook ads, back in the day, we would just notify and expect, that the off. So what I found is most of the time, the front desk is busy and following up with a lead is an interruption of their day. So, they're dealing with new patients coming through the door, they're dealing with answering the phone, they're checking patients out. And so if they've got 14 new leads to follow up, they might send one text message, they might do one phone call, but that's it. So if we're spending $150 per lead to get these leads through the door, obviously we want to follow up with them more than one time to make sure they actually get into the office. So Ortho-Boost, our package that we do for our clients is we create your TikTok, Facebook ad account. We set up everything. We create the landing pages. We run our pre-tested TikTok and Facebook ad campaigns. We do the weekly maintenance and we do new ads as often as needed. And the best part is because our clients only use my winning ads, I usually for Facebook and TikTok, I get a lead anywhere between $80 and $90 per lead. Most of our clients are getting them between $20 and $40. So because you don't have to try out the ads that didn't work, you only get the ones that work consistently. You're already getting a better cost per lead than I get at my own practice. And then once we get those leads, we have a follow-up team that call and schedule every single new lead. And our follow-up team, I believe, follows up 6 times with every lead.
Mhm.
So is that correct, Tyler? I know you're more involved with the follow-up.
Yeah. And if I could just share a little bit about the follow-up team real fast. We've been doing this for a while. We've seen kind of where marketing can cause future headaches. When we would deliver 40, 50 leads every 2 weeks to offices, the front desk or the office manager, it would be an inconvenience, like what Dr. Tyler said, to follow up with 40, 50 leads over a short period of time. It just didn't happen, right? And so eventually we got tired of hearing the complaints, got tired of hearing the excuses. And so what we did is we went out and we recruited some of our own team members from different offices who've been TCs, office managers for the past 20 years. And now what they do is they will call people within a couple minutes and add them directly to your schedule. So we actually integrate into your practice management software, get all the insurance information from the new patient and add them into your schedule for you. So it's no longer, hey, I emailed you a new lead, please follow up. Because, the truth is, team members will leave, team members will come and go. They'll go on maternity leave, they'll get sick, a weekend or a holiday will come up, and the new leads don't get followed up with. Oftentimes our team members who are on the follow-up team are working in the evenings and sometimes over the weekends. Now we don't ask them to do the weekends, but if it's snowing like it is in Michigan for the past week and they have nothing better to do, they're going to be following up with the new leads. They get paid a high salary and a good commission. And so what happens is, they're following up constantly with all the new leads and adding them to your schedule. So it's kind of like an end-to-end marketing program. What Dr. Tyler is saying here is, we get the leads, we qualify leads, we call them and place them on your schedule. There's no more chasing leads. Before, this is like four years ago, I believe that we were just creating more headaches for doctors, saying, oh, here's a ton of new leads to follow up with. Offices wouldn't follow up with them. And at the end of the day, they'd cancel our programs. So what we did is like say, okay, we're going to do everything for you. There's no more chasing, no more following up. Like Dr. Tyler was saying is we're going to call them 3 different times, 2 to 3 days in a row and get them on the schedule. It's about persistence. Most offices would call during the workday. And we all know that parents are working, they're either at their office or working from home or with their children. And so if we're calling morning, afternoon, and evening, we're going to get a hold of them and we're going to book them. So persistence wins the game when it comes to our follow-up team. And I think that's one of the coolest things about our program is not only the TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram ads like Dr. Tyler has, but it's a follow-up team that really makes the whole thing work.
Yep. And obviously you saw for my own practice, we have to schedule a lot of new patients from Facebook and TikTok to get starts. So if you get the leads and you don't schedule them, then you're going to have to get even more leads to get those numbers. So, to take that out of the equation, it increases your ROI exponentially if you actually get the patients who will, click on your ad, that fill out the form to get into the office.
And I just want to mention, like, there's no one else out there who's running this at this level as well. There's some companies who will outsource some, like the simple communication. We specifically hired several team members here in the States and one in Canada that are able to talk the talk and walk the walk. They've been in the orthodontic space for over 20 years, some of them, and so they know how to handle conversations and know how to be able to, schedule people and not be able, passing someone to someone overseas, it just doesn't really go over well. If they have questions about treatment or questions about your processes, well, our team members they know how to respond because they've done it for years. And so it's a pretty cool thing.
So in addition, as part of our package, we do offer a 90-day ROI guarantee. So we say if we can't get you a return on your investment, and again, I'm confident that we can because I've done this consistently for the last 12 years. And again, we're taking only the best ads that give me a good ROI and using them for your practice. And then we're calling and scheduling the leads. So by doing this process, we can get you a return on your investment, or we'll refund your management fee after that 90-day period. And so I don't know of any other marketing companies that have any kind of guarantee like this, but that is our guarantee that using our system, our processes, and following through to the end, we will get a return on your investment. And the best part is, like, the first 90 days is usually the hardest. After time, you can see, I got 23 million impressions on TikTok last year. So the person who saw me 6 months ago might be scheduling tomorrow. So this tends to get better over time and get more efficient with time. So if you are interested in learning more about our program, learning more about our costs, it depends a little bit on your office size, the number of locations, things like that. You can head over to our website, ortho-boost.com, click on the Grow My Practice button, schedule a time with Tyler. He'll go over all the details. We'll talk about your market, and then, kind of give you an idea as far as what the process and system looks like. And now we'll open it up for questions. If you have any questions about marketing in general, any questions about what we do, or what I would recommend for your practice, feel free to ask if anyone has any questions.
Someone did message in cost. So they're wondering about the cost of the program. Do you want me to take that, Dr. Tyler, or you want to take that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we like to call ourselves a high value, low cost company. There's a lot of marketing companies that will come in 5-10 grand a month for a lot of different services, kind of similar. For monthly agency fee, it's a 2 grand monthly agency fee. There's a small setup fee as well, but the 2 grand setup fee is what covers our expenses. 2 grand monthly maintenance fee is what covers our expenses. That's up to 3 office locations. We just signed up a doctor at 6 locations. He's paid about $500 more, but to get a 7-8 to 1 ROI, like what we were showing on some of the other screens that Dr. Tyler has, $2,000 agency is really reasonable. A lot of the companies will charge a lot higher without the follow-up team. So what we're really doing is we're adding the follow-up team into the services, increasing the value and keeping our price point low, be able to help doctors really succeed and bring in as many new patients as possible. So that's kind of how we like to run it with the pricing. Other than pricing, that's all the questions that I got. I will open up. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to message directly in Zoom or unmute yourself, and we could go through any questions you may have.
Yeah, and just in reference in cost, like the cost of just creating video ads for my practice each month is about $2,400. So just to make the videos that we use for your practice, if you were to try to replicate my system, you would spend more than the entire monthly management fee for the entire program. So again, for my practice, it's worth it to pay that cost for the video creation, but you get the videos, you get the landing pages, you get the ads management, and you get the follow-up for less than what I spend each month on just videos.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Tyler, can you drop that Ortho-Boost start link in the chat, if you don't mind? Yeah. And then one other thing too, I just wanted to shout this out, is if you guys are interested, we have quite a few people on here right now. If you guys are interested in getting started within the next 2 weeks, we'll give a $500 off bonus on the initial setup fee. And our setup time period is 2 weeks. And so you get all of Dr. Tyler's top performing ads, campaigns, and TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. and we could launch those in as early as 2 weeks after a simple agreement signed. With that agreement, there is that 90-day money back guarantee, which no one else offers in the industry. You get our follow-up team and all of Dr. Tyler's winning ads for about $2,000 a month, not including the ad spend, which I could talk about that more on a future call. But yeah, that is about it. The start link is there, Ortho-Boost. $2,000 a month to be able to get all of Dr. Tyler's winning ads and campaigns, as well as our follow-up team members as well.
All right. Well, thank you everybody who joined. I'm glad we got a pretty good turnout tonight, and everyone who watched this on the replay. Yeah, if you have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to answer those after the fact as well. So thanks everybody, and we will talk to you all later. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye.